Hello, hello, hello. The mic sounds nice. Hello, hello, just waiting as I put. Oh man, did I spill these? Hello, people, hello. Just waiting a couple of minutes here. It's time for a lot of us, but I'm going to speak about myself, but I know if I need to do it, a lot of other people need to do it too. God dang it. I have to call you back. Hold on a second. This is Salad Sensation. People, I had a phone call and I had to answer. People, I had a phone call and I had to answer it. Sorry about that. But anyway, so I said that the title of it is called "You Have to Show People Who You Are," and the reason being is because, and it's about me most of all, but I just now watched the last episode, the finale of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And just looking at Shamia, because I'm looking at Shamia. I understand she grew up in Decatur. Decatur's kind of like the hood. I get it. I get how she grew up. And I understand that she don't want to forget where she came from and she want to always be humble. But Shamia needs to see where she is now. And it could be time for her to go in some different circles. Because the thing about it's fine if you want to be humble and not forget where you came from, but the problem is that the people who are kind of beneath where you are, sometimes the people who are beneath you have to treat finances the same way you treat your spirituality. When people are spiritually beneath you, sometimes you can't run in those circles because they will pull you down. And for me, it's the same thing as when people are financially beneath you or their status is beneath you. I'm not saying everybody's like this. Some people are very nice people that they can be like working custodial work or whatever they do, and they can be some very down to earth people to talk to. But those people are very few. When you have a certain status, it's important to run in the circles of people that have similar status. It's just what it is. You can't be friends with everybody. I feel like I don't like the way Shamia. I want to say I don't really care for the way Shamia is allowing Portia to treat her. I don't care for the way Shamia is allowing Portia to treat her. I've seen that Shamia is looking kind of weak, and I say this because I've seen this within myself. So it's not me just hopping on Shamia. I've seen it within myself. I want to talk about. It was nice that that Portia was very nice to her when Shamia found out her daughter Charlotte was sick and she was in Grenada. But what did it was, listen, Portia's cousin died, a very close friend of Shamia as well. This person was like family to Shamia. Now, Shamia had to find out through Phaedra. And I get that Portia, the reason why Phaedra knew is because Portia had to cancel an event that was created by Phaedra. And so Portia had to say why she could not come. So she said, well, my cousin died, and that's why I have to cancel. So it's not like, Phaedra is just the first person she called. But Shamia was very close to this person. Like, Shamia didn't even know. And when Shamia found out, when Portia came and told all the girls that Portia had a death in her family and it was her cousin, Shamia cried. And I feel like she cried because, yeah, she was very close to this person because it was a time when Shamia was very close to Portia's family. So I feel like she was sad because the person passed away. But I also feel like Shamia was sad because Portia did not tell her. Portia did not tell her. So Shamia, at her event on the last episode of the Real Housewives before the reunion, Shamia has her event, and she talked about how she sent so many flowers and stuff to Portia, for her loss, to sending so many flowers and so many flowers. But Portia knew that Shamia had an event and did not even say good luck, did not send her a text to say good luck, did not say anything. She has yet to even tell Shamia that her cousin died. Whether she knew Phaedra went back and said anything or not, she has yet to tell Shamia. That is really a slap in the face. I feel like I'm not liking the way Shamia is really being treated, but it's kind of like Portia has showed so many times that she does not reciprocate the friendship that Shamia gives. Portia does not reciprocate. I think Portia has shown that time and time again. But what I want to talk about is this, because I listened to somebody else say it. I actually heard Jessie Woo talking about it. Jessie Woo was like, Shamia, you are the queen of Kenya. You have wealth. You don't have to tolerate this disrespect. And I'm sorry. Yeah, I see it's okay to be humble and stuff. But at the same time, people need to know who you are. People need to know who you are. Sometimes people are just beneath you. And she also talked about how Drew Sidora was sitting up there at her performance event. And she talked about how she missed a note, or something happened with a note, and said, was her mic off? Because it should have been off the whole time. So Drew Sidora was just like knocking her at her event. And I agree with what Jessie was saying. Shamia and Drew are on two different levels. First of all, I don't know if Shamia sings better than Drew. I think Drew has a nice voice. I think Shamia has more of that soulful sound. And I think when people have a soulful sound, people think they sound better because they have that soulful kind of sound. And so people automatically feel like they sing better. But I think it depends on your taste. I'm not really sure if Shamia sounds better than Drew Sidora. I've heard Drew Sidora sing, and she has a very nice voice. She has good technique to me. As a person who took voice lessons, Drew Sidora to me has very good technique, but she does not sound like an Aretha Franklin. Shamia sounds like an Aretha Franklin, but that's a matter of taste, because people like to talk about how Beyonce couldn't sing because she don't sing like Fantasia and Aretha Franklin. But you don't have to sing like that in order to know how to sing. Okay, you don't have to sound like Shaka Khan and all that stuff to be able to sing. But anyway, so I say, yeah, sometimes people need to know who you are. Sometimes you just cannot be around folks that's beneath you. I really feel like it's time for Shamia to run in bigger circles. She's around some people that just want to pull her down. The same way they coming after Angela Oakley's husband and talking about her husband cheating and all that stuff, like they never had problems in their relationships before. They're going to come for her marriage. I think Shamia might need to get away from the crabs. It's time for her to probably feel like she is better than them, because I think she is. Now, I want to... But I think somebody brought up that they believe during this reunion that Portia just pretty much ate Shamia up. Shamia's like being very humble. She's still trying to be that humble girl. It's not working out. And I realize in this particular type of world, you can be humble as far as feeling like, for me, humility is for the Most High. I humble myself to the Most High. I don't humble myself to other people. This is what I'm learning. I feel like humility, I humble myself to the Most High, because the Most High can give and can take it all away. And I'm not talking about the religious entity in the Bible. I'm not talking about the person, the one in the Old Testament or whatever. I'm talking about there is a real Most High that I'm aware of. Okay, that I'm aware of. And I humble myself to the Most High. I don't humble myself to other people. I'm learning not to humble at my age. I'm a little older. I'm learning not to. When you get older, you realize a lot of stuff people say don't matter. You really start to learn how the world works sometimes when you get older. Some people learn as they get younger because a lot of stuff that they've been through in their life, especially if they're in the entertainment business, they probably learn this at a very young age, because when you're in the entertainment industry, I think you might grow up fast, right? But Shamia don't need to humble herself to these ladies. These ladies have disrespected, and I'm not saying that Shamia don't have her own faults. I'm not saying that she hasn't done anything wrong. But Shamia has been disrespected. Britt Eady came for Shamia's child at Shamia's event. Shamia confronted Britt Eady because Britt Eady told Portia about some text messages that Shamia was texting about Portia, which is probably why Portia did not talk to her the whole time, like didn't do anything for her event, didn't say anything, didn't text. But Portia has been disrespectful. So, I mean, people can say, well, it's because she heard about those texts, but Portia been disrespectful this whole doggone season. Portia has been disrespectful besides the time when her daughter was sick, and then Portia was like very nice to her. But other than that, Portia has been disrespectful this whole doggone season. So I don't want to just put it on the fact that she heard about some texts from Britt Eady. But Britt Eady have some nerve. Shamia said, Britt, stop lying on me. You didn't see any text. I never showed you any text that I told you about Portia and all that stuff. So, Shamia kind of confronted Britt Eady on the text that telling Portia about some text that Shamia texted somebody else about Portia. But why the hell Britt Eady bring up her child? And Shamia said, don't bring up my child. I don't understand how her child can come into this. How did her child even come in it? This is the disrespect that I'm talking about. Not trying to be funny, but she wouldn't have done this to Nene Leakes. Sometimes that Nene Leakes kind of personality is necessary. Sometimes that Tammy Roman personality is necessary. Sometimes that personality is necessary. Why would it be appropriate to bring up her child Shiloh in a conversation that has nothing to do with children? This is the disrespect that I'm talking about that Shamia gets from these girls. This is the disrespect. Hold on. I think Shamia, it's time for her to run in bigger circles. She needs to be around other wealthy people. She needs to run in circles around very wealthy people. I get this shit, I don't want to forget where she came from, but the disrespect is real. People are playing in her face. People are playing in her face. And I feel like she needs to run in different circles. Same thing if you're on a certain spiritual level. You need to run in those kind of circles. You can't deal with anybody beneath that, because they'll bring you down. You can't, but now I'm going to talk about how this ties into me. It's time for me to stop playing around too and be who I really am. Because I've taken a lot too. And it's time for me to be who I am. It's time for me to show who I really am. And I'm bigger than just a human being. This is why I'm always so targeted. But see, now this thing with me constantly being targeted has gotten on my last nerve. Because it's not good enough for me to mind my own business and just do the work, internal work myself, which is still going to take internal work. But part of the internal work for me is not just minding myself as an individual, minding my own business as an individual. I have to mind everything because I know that I'm bigger than just a doggone human being. I'm bigger than an alien too. I'm bigger than a lot. I might just be bigger than Earth. I might just be bigger than Sirius B. Like I'm bigger and I'm acting small. So when I talk about Shamea, now I'm going to tie this into how this is about me as well. Probably more than Shamea. It's about me more than it's about Shamea. I'm taking too much off of individuals. Some people need to be sued. I know it's hard to sue companies these days. You can lose. And then once you lose, you can be the same way people can be blackballed in the industry. People can make sure that you'll never work again in that town. They can make sure you never work again. And this is when it comes time for me to flex my muscles. It's time for me to flex my muscles. Because these people's lives could very well be in my hands. And I know that sounds weird. But I already been shown this years ago. And the reason why I've been kind of meek is because I have been afraid of my own power. Because once I come into my own power, to my real power, it's going to be a lot of judgment. It's going to be a lot of judgment. I'm not going to be a nice lady. I'm going to be worse than Jezebel. And people want to keep think Jezebel is just limited to a whore. No, Jezebel took care of business. Jezebel took care of business. I don't want to be the Aunt Jemima anymore to keep taking trash. I'd rather be more of a Jezebel, but the type of Jezebel that gets stuff done. Don't take no. People need to know. You're gonna know who the hell I am. If you don't know, you're gonna know who I am. If you didn't know, now you know. Jezebel had that kind of personality. Aunt Jemima keep taking shit. So anyway, yeah, it's time for folks to know. Yeah, it's time for people to know. Like, it's time for me to get into the authority that I'm supposed to be in. And I'm trying not to be so busy doing work and stuff because I should not be working. I mean, truth be told, all this shit belong to me. But because for so long I didn't realize who I was acting like a regular person as everybody else. But little do I know, these people are a product of my own soul. I should not be working. I should not be working. I should be the boss. But anyway, stories for other days, as Dr. Mumby says. And with that being said, I will talk later.